Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Raiken, our 5th edition live play podcast that meets every Tuesday, except last Tuesday. We were off last Tuesday. The Tuesday before that, though, we had a session, and in that session, the party was dealing with the sudden disappearance of their dragonborn Raiken. The titular character has up and vanished on us in a flurry of flame and autumn leaves, along with Leah's companion, Lorelei. Now, the party spent some time discussing with Treznor and amongst themselves and with Tatsuya, Raiken's older brother, what this all could mean and why it's happening. And at the end of it, they determined that they needed to gather more information, they needed to cast some spells and ask some divine questions. And upon asking Treznor for permission to do that, he said they absolutely had permission to get the hell out of his town and do whatever they wanted once they were beyond his border. So, they were escorted out, and prepared to ask some questions. Tatsuya convinced his two remaining soldiers that they could be of no further help to him in the pursuit of his brother, and they'd already gone above and beyond their normal call of duty, staying with him past the failure to retrieve the scale. And so he dismissed them, and they are possibly returning to Arcosia. It was not shared with the party what their plans were. Laramentis cast the spell Commune, and was able to ask 3 yes or no questions, determined that Raiken had indeed been swept away by, at the very least, the machinations of the Archfey Zintharamel. Sorry, somebody is flying and I've only just noticed it, and they're just way up there, and what is going on? Please stop. The Archface and Tharamil. I've forgotten what the second question was, but I know that the third question was, is he in immediate mortal danger? And the answer to that was yes.
The second question was, is he in the Feywild?
Is he in the Feywild? Okay, so the answer to all 3 questions had been yes.
Yeah.
He was whisked away by at least the designs of Zintharamil. He was in the Feywild, and he was in immediate mortal danger. And so now the party needs to decide what they want to do. They seem to be in line amongst themselves and with this newcomer Tatsuya in wanting to get back their Dragonborn Paladin. But they need to figure out first if they're going to rest or go straight to it, and then second, how they're going to go about doing that, where they're going to access the Feywild, and how they're going to find their friend. And while they were having these questions answered by Commune, Jebel was doing some tracking in the mud of the swamp to see if he could locate the inhabitants of the camp that the party had discovered outside of town, and believed strongly to belong to the youth Givaris that they met, when the youth himself appeared and warned Jebel about the bear traps that they used to protect themselves and catch food, and he didn't want the gnome being snapped up in them. He then offered some information that might help the party reopen the southern perpendicularity to get to the Feywild more expediently so that they might find their friend. He indicated that this would involve acquiring a very dangerous illicit magic item from a nearby unknown person, and then using the very dangerous illicit magic item to potentially reopen the perpendicularity. The party did not seem on board with this, and are currently in the middle of determining what they will do. So, please, I wish I was surprised by the message I just saw on my screen. I am not.
So as we're sitting here talking,
broke
Cyrus just goes up, and then he starts falling down with ice on him. He hasn't solved that problem yet, and
Yeah.
If only he were better at chemistry. Okay, so
don't go above 1,000 feet.
the party here, Gavaris, they are offering his help. You've refused him. He has seemed to accept that you have refused him and said, fine, figure it out yourself then. What are you going to do? The last I had heard was Laramendus debating if you should rest now and how you might go about doing that, or if you're going to contact a friendly organization and go to them to set up your next thing. So please, Laramendus, refresh us on what those options are.
so there are, the way I see it, the easiest paths forward are we can go to the university. I know the circle there. We can get there. And from there, we can make way to the perpendicularity near the university, or possibly acquire other means of getting into the Feywild. When we are
The university
there,
not in the Feywild?
no, the university is on the material plane.
I didn't know.
If they have a tuning fork attuned to the Feywild, I could also bring us there.
That would be one of the potential avenues of ingress that we could pursue should we go to the university.
You should probably bring a tuning fork to this realm before going, so I could also always bring us back without finding a perpendicularity.
Also likely a thing we could find there, which would be nice.
Yeah, that does seem like the safer option.
I do have a thought though. Is the distance in the Feywild the same as the distance in the material plane?
Not exactly. Mostly, kind of. It depends where you are and when you are.
And when you are?
I also wish to apologize for interrupting, but I do want to interject two things here. One, in the absence of Raiken as a character in this portion of the story, I am having his player Alex take up the role of his older brother Tatsuya, and you may participate in any discussions, and obviously I expect the party to be treating Tatsuya however they feel Tatsuya should be treated, despite that it is Alex playing him. And also, I just wanted to point out to Thomas that while your token was over there dealing with Gavaris, you may at any point jump into discussions, contribute in any way you like, or tell me what you'd like to do with or about Gavaris.
Let's stick him in a bag of holding.
Okay. You'll need to overpower him to do that.
And he only falls for it once.
So what would you like to do to try and get him into the bag of holding?
We'll leave that for the time being.
Okay, so your friends are discussing teleporting out of here to, quote, the university.
Well, I also have. Oh, sorry. Actually, go. Jebel's gonna say something.
Nope. I'm inviting him to.
Okay. I would like to suggest that we choose to. Are we gonna rest here or at the university? Because we should rest before we go. Because I know mages need time to recharge, don't you?
Well, no offense to Gavaris, who has honestly been nothing but hospitable. I think it would be a much nicer rest at the university I look down at the mud that I am sinking into as we speak.
And if we're
you
going
see-
to rest, might as well do it after the spells are cast, so that we don't have to spin them the next day.
Yeah, if we can get there today, then we should do there and then rest it when we get there.
You see Givaris bow magnanimously over the head of Jebel.
Sorry, that is my mother. I'll do that.
He says, "You are, of course, welcome to spend your time resting in my camp. I'm just about getting supplies for the night. And I won't even charge you like any inn might as a highway robber would."
And who else do you have with you out here?
Just the two friends that I told you about earlier. Ones who would help me study magic. They're off hunting in the southeast. Southeast, yeah. I expect them back
Did you
by
say their
nightfall.
names were?
I didn't say what their names were. Figured I'd wait till you actually meet them. Let them introduce themselves. But if you're not sticking around, then I'll be sure to tell them that you're sorry you didn't get to meet them. Who has introduced himself to Givaris by name? I know he knows Leah's name.
I am back.
Hey. Your friends were just being very quiet.
Well, I don't think I've introduced myself.
Okay. You will see Givaris go to check a trap. Messing with it in the muck. Resetting it. Trips it, resets it, makes sure it's still, in working order. There it is. I really am glad that I was able to help you a little bit earlier. I'm sorry that you still got involved in the fracas over there. I tried to spare you that. But as I said earlier, I'm certainly glad you survived, and I got to see you again. So, what's the verdict?
My vote is going to the university. For the
Thanks.
use of sending and teleport.
I turn to Tatsuya and I say, I know that we had also just briefly discussed using Contact Other Plane as another means of gaining more information about Raiken's state. Given the risks, if we are going to the university now, it would make sense for us to get there, and then I can help anyone figure out where they need to be, how they can find whatever they need to find before casting it, just on the chance that I am incapacitated.
I mean, also there are lots of other mages at the university, right? We could maybe see if one of them could cast the one you already cast, and we can get more info that way without having to risk it.
It is possible that we could find someone else capable of casting Commune. It's a rarer thing at the university, as it's a divine spell. Many of my colleagues are particularly focused on the arcane, if they're capable of casting such magics.
Really want to find my brother. Whatever it's going to take.
Well, our options are to charge or to follow Gavaris here and charge blindly, assuming his plan works, without really knowing where we're going, or going to the university, finding out where he is, and then going after him.
The second option seems like it's going to take a while.
It will take a little bit of time, but not knowing how long it will take to acquire the objects needed to open the portal here, it could in fact be shorter. We have no way to know.
In either case, we do also need to rest. I'm functioning on about 4 hours of trancing over the course of 48 hours, which is not optimal, given our transportation here as well. So even if we were to stay here and work with Gavaris to find the Sphere of Annihilation, we would need to rest before we could do that.
I'm sure you're all are needing rest, given the fight that we just had. Very well. You can go rest, but we're not taking any more time than we have to.
Then,
I will be able to use. Go ahead.
So then I believe it's time for ascending, unless someone objects.
You know, if we did wait another hour, I could use Arcade Recover, and then I wouldn't need to use my my newly acquired 8th level spell slot to send.
And
That's an extra hour!
You need to do that? We're gonna rest when we get there anyway.
It is true. We would be able to rest in the mansion at the university.
I mean, we still have the house. It's not like terrible.
You want to set that up on the quad? The students would just be everywhere around us. It wouldn't be very restful. But I will.
Good point. The mansion is nice.
It's not worth waiting an hour. Not when someone's life is on the line.
So I am going to send to the university with the requisite information, which I think we basically just determined was who I am, the number of people, and when we are intending to show up, and then wait for some confirmation, or I don't know if there's some passphrase or something that gets sent in response, but...
Yes. You do know the procedure for this.
Yeah.
So, you provide your identification and the proof that you have the authorization to make this request, which you have. And it gets responded to over a much longer period of time than you're, used to for general sendings, but this is exactly within expectation for this, as you understand how this system works.
Mm-hmm. While waiting for that, I am going to pull out my book so I can show Cyrus the circle, so that he can know it, so that he can teleport to it.
I'll begin studying it.
I'm snooping around, taking a look and just peeking into the tent to see if there's anything interesting there.
Alright. Well, while you're doing that, Gavaris is going to be, wandering about, and as this book comes out, he is going to seem overtly interested and begin approaching.
It's my spell book. Does your magic come from wizardry, or is it another form?
Well, I had to study spells as well. Write them down, formulas, gotta stand properly, swing my arms, say the right words, sometimes have the right piece of bat shit or whatever.
And the guano does make the component pouches not as pleasant as they could be, but I find that if you have the right other spells that you use frequently, you can have a good enough array of other things to hide it.
I'm still pretty new to the whole thing. Only been really cracking on it for the last several months. But I feel like, at least my friends tell me, I've come a long way. Though, I don't recognize, as he's like, kind of like leaning over Cyrus' shoulder, which does not take any effort. He's looking at the teleportation circle. Is this advanced?
This is not a spell in and of itself. This is a circle that, well, no teleportation circle is safe to use without the proper communications. So I would not recommend, if you are soon capable of doing that, to attempt to go here without properly making inroads at the university. Is there a particular spell that you're interested in that I might be able to flip to see if you can understand something, or I can explain something?
I mean, I've mostly been working out certain spells myself, more or less, obviously with the help of my friends. But I was hoping that perhaps I'd been told that there was ways to use arcane magic to convince people to leave me alone.
There are a fair number of spells that could achieve something like that. I, unfortunately...
I find Fireball tends to work.
I'd prefer not to singe or kill them, if possible. I find, or at least I've been told that words can be enough if you know the right spells.
Ah. Yeah, not particularly good. That was...
Actually, I don't think I have any enchantment spells. Like, any. Hold on.
I only know one, and I just learned it.
My only problem right now is that I have done no building of the university in Tailspire, so this will be an interesting thing when you transfer there. You'll have to forgive me as I try to quickly build stuff around you.
Yeah, no, I
Imagine.
have no enchantment spells. The school of magic that you're interested in with that kind of thing is likely to be enchantment.
Yeah, that does sound like what they told me about.
Unfortunately, I don't actually know any enchantment spells. I'm an abjurer myself. Most of the spells that I know are abjuration, divination. In terms of higher level things, I have a fair understanding of some higher level illusion magic. Which I suppose illusions could be useful for getting people to go away from you in a peaceful manner. Although they might not think of it as peaceful.
That does sound rather like the type of thing I'm hoping to find. Honestly, most of my troubles, or the things that I'd like to accomplish with magic, involve just staying alive. I left the village because, well, I didn't really like what Treznor was doing. But it's all wild animals and less than savory persons out this way. One begins to miss the safety and community of the village.
Is there an area other than here that you could go to? That you have? I don't know that you would have family elsewhere if you had grown up in that village.
I was born and raised here in the swamp. I really don't know much about the rest of the world. Do you know a place, perhaps, that would want somebody like me?
Did I go south
I
us?
mean, that's
That's a made-up word.
it is quite a pleasant place actually. It's on a large body of water, um, and
I feel like I've had enough
surrounded
of
by
water for a while.
riverlands. That is reasonable. Is there a particular climate that you are interested in? I've found people everywhere. I've traveled fairly extensively through most of the continent, and I found that there are people everywhere who are kind and welcoming.
Is there a place
and
perhaps
who are
you've
seeking
been where, I don't know, it doesn't feel like the air is licking me all day long?
most places other than this.
I'll take me there then. I
Thanks,
will
I guess you.
get this
If
on.
you're traveling from here, the easiest place to get to that is no longer this thick to be in would likely be Sylvanas.
Torlos is pretty different.
That is a good point. If you wish for a particularly dry climate, what is the city? Calabar?
Sure, Kyle.
Tuca is the city.
Tuca.
Tuca is the capital city of Calavar.
Okay. Yeah, I was just looking at the map, and that was what it said, but it labels the countries, which makes sense.
Yeah, there's no capital in Torlos.
No, Torlos' capital was Tuca. And then things happened.
Tuca is a fairly open place to people, a fairly mercantile city. Although it is recently, I think there will be construction boom there, as they will be needing to recover from a dragon attack.
You're gonna send me to a place where dragons are attacking.
Everywhere is with dragons
I'm-
are attacking.
I'm merely saying what different places are. Tuca is farther than Sylvanas would be.
You see the
but
young
it
man,
is-
like, looking up at the sky, like, nervously. Everywhere.
Yeah, you know the scale we're protecting here.
He like, looks around, like, well, you're not supposed to know.
Well, we know it's still the one left. Every other dragon is out. Welcome to the world. Now you just go on, continue looking around.
Is this one?
See him just sort of, like, reel back a little bit, and his eyes lose focus. I don't understand. We were always told that the Sentinels are guarding all the scales.
Yeah, they failed.
Other groups of the Sentinels had been less successful in their endeavors, although successful for a very long amount of time.
Up until they all failed right at the same time.
There does appear to have been a coordinated effort.
All of them.
Yep. Whitmer's the only one still trapped.
On the scale, Treznor still has it.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
I
happened here?
believe that is a very fortunate situation.
I mean, not from his point of view, but yes.
I don't believe this.
Oh no, he's very fortunate. If he had managed to acquire the scale and release Widemir, I would have killed him.
I'm gonna just
What? You want to do
I'll
that
be
to your
over here
uncle?
then.
And I start snooping in this tent.
I somehow managed to miss the part where the dragon didn't get released, so this is good news.
I mean, did
You
you ever
missed
see
whatever
with the
that
scale?
thing. He and his guys grabbed the scale, but then Treznor got him. Took the scale back.
Yavaris kind of, like, slowly, like, you see his knees go out from under him, and he just sort of, like, plops onto the soggy ground. Aye. I need a minute. You're telling me that Treznor's still protecting the scale
Yes.
with his methods.
It is what he devoted
Yes.
his very long life to.
And all the other orders, the other chapters, who devised their own methods, failed.
I mean, they gave it the old college try.
The only one we know the specifics of was the chapter in Tuca.
And they're gone too.
Well, the chapter wasn't wiped out, but they lost the scale, and the Dragon Shishiran was resurrected.
There's a chapter in
methods
Tuca.
weren't- The methods weren't really that great.
I will again say it worked for a long time.
Well, it did, but also, you know, if anybody knew what they were doing, it was not hard when they get the scale then.
Well,
Yes, there had been a chapter in Tuca. I assume that they will still remain there. I'm not sure.
No, we haven't been in contact with them since we left.
This is just unbelievable. I spent months trying to reason with the people below Treznor and trying to convince, you know, by extension, Treznor that the way he was doing things was... And then he was the only one that bloody succeeded.
So far.
I'm sure the forces will not stop at trying to resurrecting Widemir.
His method certainly hasn't come without a price.
Well, that's what I tried to tell him, but... he's still got his scale.
He certainly went to extreme measures, but he has been the most effective at protecting the scale.
Yes, forgive me, but this is all a bit... difficult for me to... digest. I was hoping... I don't know. I was hoping I'd been right. That he could have been doing it differently. The only thing we'd been taught about the other orders is that we weren't allowed to know where they were or how they were protecting their scales, but that they all had their own unique way of doing it, and that was a system that works, you know, keep the information compartmentalized and protect the world that way. And I just figured that Treznor was the only one going around brutalizing and slaughtering people that came looking, rather than finding some other way, turn them away, get them to leave.
Just because Treznor's method is the only one that seems to have succeeded does not mean that it's the only one that would succeed.
Seems kind of hard to argue with the results are, though. Don't you think?
It is true that it did work, and will hopefully continue to work.
I think perhaps...
And the other ones worked for thousands of years too, and we only know how the one in Tuca operated.
Do you mind me
So
asking?
they're... Sure. The way the one in Tuca had it, they had a local gang have it as one of their treasured heirlooms, and they were all the town guard, were all Platinum Sentinels, and they worked for this gang, protecting their treasures and stuff.
Didn't keep one cat lady to sneak in and just pick it?
Sorry. Did you say...
Yeah, but Lynn is the greatest thief. She's the greatest thief I've ever met. You know me.
I think that's a bit of a
She wouldn't be
bias.
able to. She wouldn't be able to take the scale from scale of Windermere because it's required to Dragonborn. If they had a protection like that, she would not have been able to take it.
Yeah, I'm not saying the way they did it was good. It failed.
It was absolute garbage.
There is merit to hiding something in such a way that it doesn't appear particularly
hiding
valuable, so
in
that
sight,
no one would
yeah.
try and take it.
Making them think that the only value it had was sentimental.
So the guards in the city you were telling me about, they were running a protection racket for organized crimes?
Yeah, as a cover to protect the scale.
They didn't actually do organized crimes as far as we know. They just pretended to.
The guys that they were the Sand Dollar Gang, they called them. They were kind of low end. They weren't very. They were thieves, but kind of like smuggler thieves. I don't know. They weren't. They didn't seem particularly dangerous.
Huh. Well, I mean, I did ask, and I suppose, like, it does fit that different sects would have entirely different methods, but, boy, that one does seem a little, stretches the brain in weird directions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it wasn't.
Turning yourself into a lich.
Ooh. Can't go more extreme than that.
I don't know. I think there are ways. I say, looking at Tatsuya.
I'm not trying to protect the scale.
What are you doing over there, Cyrus?
Keeping my distance between, from you and your uncle.
He's studying the teleportation circle, so...
I give you a look. A very uncomfortable look.
If we would just
It's not been my
resurrect
best
all
day.
the
If
dragons,
things start flying, I want to not get in the way.
we would just resurrect all the dragons and have the world join to kill them. We wouldn't have to protect any scales.
Wait, he's studying teleportation circle armors. What do you mean?
You seem to be ignoring
He's
the
going to-
genocide that would occur in the meantime.
Always going to be some collateral damage.
Collateral, and what if we failed to join? What if we failed to unite and you just wiped out all existence in this world?
Then there would be no hate or wars in the world, I guess.
And you're an idiot.
Yeah, this plan seems kind of stupid.
Learn just gotten his response yet.
Where
You-
Cyrus went.
From this ending, that for the getting the all clear.
Well, Arminus, what teleportation circle are you doing?
I'm not. I can't today, given everything else. Cyrus is going to be teleporting us to the university.
Okay, and who's studying the circle?
Cyrus.
Yo.
Oh,
So that he can teleport us to the university.
I just remember all that. I thought those were a very closely guarded secret. Those circles, I thought, or am I thinking of a different one?
The one at the university is one of the more commonly known ones.
Okay.
As most people capable of teleporting are
The ground door one
from
is
the
the one
university.
that's the secret.
There are no circles that you should teleport to without the proper clearances beforehand if you want to continue existing.
Okay.
They are fairly well protected, even if the
Besides-
circle itself is not a well-guarded secret.
No, but besides, secrets are well kept in that book of his.
I wouldn't say that my book keeps secrets, it keeps knowledge.
Yeah, but when I tried reading it, I couldn't read anything but what you wanted me to read.
I just imagine after Leah
What?
indicates that your book is good at keeping secrets, you've got, like, Ash peering down at you.
It's capable. The book is designed so that it will show what I want to show somebody, or I can find whatever I want to find. Is there something in particular that you wanted to see? You had asked for stories last time, I believe, and so I showed you some stories.
Yeah, but if someone just takes the book and you don't want them to see anything, they won't be able to.
I mean, if somebody takes the book, then it won't show them anything. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I do need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Ash
them.
rotates 45
So-
degree
so-
angle.
So it keeps the secrets you want to have in the book.
The main function of it is just the fact that it can hold as much as I want written in it. I did not design this item. I don't actually know where my sister got it.
I'm imagining sweating as
Ash's stare just intensifies.
Doesn't even have eyes.
Also, while they're
but you can
saying
just
this, I
tell he's
decided to try
staring.
and... while they're saying this, I want to try looking at other pages to see if that information checks out.
When you turn the page, you find that you are looking at the exact same teleportation circle that you were looking at before. You flip, like, 3/4 of the way through the book, and it's the exact same page you were looking at.
The only page in the book.
All the pages
Oh.
are the same.
That is odd.
This might be the first time Jebel has heard about a sister. He's definitely talked about her to the party when he first joined them, since it was relevant to his questioning.
It was very relevant.
So then Cyrus is also his first time hearing about it.
It is entirely possible that Cyrus also would not have known that he had a sister.
If Jubble doesn't know, then Cyrus wouldn't, because joined after.
I don't remember if she had come up. She might have come up with Leah the last time he was talking about his book. But I don't think that he was alone with Leah at the time.
yeah, that was in the
So,
mention.
yeah, that would probably be the first time Cyrus and Jebel are aware that
Wasn't-
Laramind has had a sister.
Wasn't Cyrus with us when we had a talk in the mansion?
I think I was there for part of it, but then I left.
You also probably didn't pay much attention because you just wanted to show off your wings.
I mean, I just got
Around
wings.
the line.
What else you want from me?
But yeah, you find that you are unable to search through this book for what you want. I think the book is also written in Halfling. What's your first language?
I mean, I think it would.
Why would it be written in Halfling?
Well, it's either half. It depends on who I guess it would depend on who I spend more time with. If it's Halfling or Draconic. I'm gonna flip a coin.
It's just automatically whatever their first
Your
language
father
is.
was a big part of your life once your magic manifested.
Yeah, but it's the once your magic manifested part which makes it kind of 50-50.
No, I know. This is me agreeing with you.
Well, how old were you when your magic manifested?
One
it
d10, 1d10 years old.
It seems it was halfway.
Okay, so the
Like
notes
it's
about
just, like,
this
mixed.
teleportation circle and anything on the page that is not like arcane in nature and so can't be different is all written in Halfling. Which
I
seems
think it's
weird.
just-
You are not aware of Laramendus knowing Halfling, and you're also not aware of that being a reasonable thing for him to write in his book.
Man, you've learned that 2 of your friends know Halfling today.
So weird. We don't really share that.
But like the hand looks like it was written by Laramendus, so
Yeah, that detail didn't strike Lee as odd, considering it was then written in common. So
It's funny, it's just like every other sentence. There's a halfling sentence and a draconic sentence.
it's just written in a Halfling Draconic pigeon.
Yes. A fucking mesh of the two. Halfway through the sentence, it switches which one it is.
But yeah, so that will strike you about the book that you are looking at. That anything that is like normal text on the page is written in Halfling.
And now I know that I can speak in Halfling if I ever need to talk to this half party.
No, I can't wait for you to try.
I do need to step away to give my cat her insulin, so I will
So you
be
guys have
back.
10 minutes of no wizard. What are you doing during that time?
yeah, I'll be right back real quick. I'm just gonna get a soda, so it's like a minute max. Probably not even that.
Okay, go.
Assuming he doesn't get that I don't get like the go signal for teleportation, then I'll definitely still be studying over the symbols, trying to get as clear a mental picture of them as I can.
Gavaris just seems to be standing, shin deep in the swamp water, like staring. You can sometimes hear the susurrus of him talking to himself, but beyond that, like, he doesn't seem to be currently engaging with you. He
Alright.
seemed very affected by the information that you gave him. Maybe I can use this time to start making the new map.
Perhaps I think they had like a marble set. Might be good for it.
Yes, I actually started using it on one of my other maps already.
Are you getting all the packs as they come out?
Yeah, they're free.
No, the game's currently in early access, so at the moment anything that comes out is just an update until it hits release.
Yep.
And then anything after release will be purchased.
Maybe. I don't know yet.
That is my understanding for like the post launch post launch plan. But I think whoever is marked as GM is the only one who needs to own the packs.
Just double check.
Well, I was just wondering for like, because it is a neat little building thing to where you can make a game. Like if I ever feel like doing. Or help building a map.
So, well, Leah's gone, so I can't ask her any questions.
Back now actually.
Oh, all right.
I
So
just
do
didn't
you
want to say.
have? Oh, do you
Yeah, I
have
just
any?
didn't. God damn it!
You
I
go.
just didn't want to
Stop.
say that I was back since
I'll
people were
talk.
talking. But no, go.
Do you happen to have any? So I know we're needing to retrieve tuning forks. Has it been said why they're needed?
I'm gonna like. I can't control now because the GM is in a different room, but.
We talked about it a lot. I think so.
Yeah, I just gonna give a sigh and then walk closer to you because I'm annoyed by being so far away while talking.
Yeah. Sorry, I just needed a stand to create a quick stand-in for going to the Arcane University.
Yeah.
That should do for now.
Yes. Man, now I can control. Oh, I'm going over there now. Yes, I needed tuning forks to dimension shift. They're a requirement.
Dimension shift.
Yes,
Is that like plane shift or is that different?
No, it's plane shifts. It is plane shifts. It's just I used the wrong word.
I
So
know.
you can just have as many of those as you want for each different dimension you want to go to.
Yeah, one like I need a tuning fork attuned to the plane.
So I assume you don't have one.
I don't have any now.
As yet to start the collection, but once it has started.
I was under the impression that you had one for the material plane already from your time in Tuca.
That sounds familiar.
How would I didn't get plane shift until it was in the Underdark.
No, but I thought that you had talked about planning ahead for it. But if you don't want to have done that, that's fine, and we can just roleplay you getting it now.
I don't think I did plan ahead for it because I didn't read that I could have it until I leveled up.
Alright, then we'll just roleplay you getting it as it becomes available and relevant.
You know, Leah doesn't know what she's gonna get before she gets it.
And why would she? Yeah, it's just like she leveled up and it's like Zarma's more power.
Yeah, since someone just gives her power once in a while. And teach her about it in her sleep. She doesn't actually know ahead. So that's why her knowledge of magic is unlimited too. She knows the magic she has. That's it.
Are these particularly expensive? Do we actually have like the funds to cover both, or at least the material plane?
I don't know. I mean,
like it's been a long time since we really worried about money.
Yeah, according to Larmentis, it's not really that big of a thing to attune the tuning forks. I believe it's made there. So I guess any tuning fork in this plane would be enough. But I'm a little confused on the matter.
Hopefully we'll be able to find what you need. This is like kind of the group as a whole. Is there anything else you guys might need to do there?
Tristan.
Yeah. Yes.
It's not unlikely Liam might already. We have never roleplayed it, but she has instruments. So it's not unlikely she might already have a tuning fork with the instruments, you know, because that's how we would tune an instrument in this time, you know, you wouldn't have a tuner, obviously.
And you know what's required for the material plane. It's very common.
Yeah, so it's not unlikely she might just have just a normal tuning fork, probably in like key D or key C.
Sure. I mean, you just tell me how you want to do this. Do you prefer that she already has one and this is the reason for it? Or would you prefer to roleplay her acquiring one? Like, either way is fine. Whatever you think is more fun.
Yeah, I think she might. Okay, I think she might already have a tuning fork that she got to by Byronor back in the time when she first got an instrument. But at this point, I've forgotten that she actually have it. So it's somewhere in the bag of holding, and she's like, she hasn't thought about the fact that, hey, you know, maybe this works.
You have
How about that?
You've had the short rest, so you would be able to try it, yeah.
So at this point, she'll probably be like, wait a minute. If any tuning fork in this world can work, then maybe this just start looking in a bag and picks up like a small tuning fork, like this. You could be it.
I suppose so. I mean, does it look particularly expensive or anything?
No, it's just something Baronor gave me.
I don't know, usually components are kind of flashy. At least the ones you know, need to purchase for the larger spells.
Yeah, well, it was never meant as a component. It's just to tune an instrument.
Hey, Leah, why don't you roll me a d8 and tell me the result?
Okay. By the way, I had no idea how tuning forks actually work in the instrument sense. Like, I know that you like playing it and it makes this tone, that one tone.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you actually use it when you tune an instrument. You probably need like multiple, I guess, different tunes.
It depends on what you're keying for, but you really just need one, since like music is math, so everything are just steps of vibration. They're frequencies. So if you tune so that you lock in that you know I'm tuning to this frequency, so that my note at this frequency matches the tuning fork at this frequency, as long as all the others, as long as the instrument is made correctly, all the other notes should be in tune as well.
True. I guess the difference is string instruments, as you then tune each string individually.
You have to tune each string individually.
Yeah, but she don't have string instruments. She have like flutes and shit.
Yeah, well, she has the mechanical. I believe she has the mechanical flute from Ireland.
Yeah, but she also had like a flute before that she got from Paranor.
Okay.
Yeah, but I believe that one got bent or something.
I think that Jebel has a stringed instrument from Garland.
Yeah, yeah, I think it did. But yeah, anyway,
I think that's why one of his names is Lutmeister.
Yeah, the D8 landed on a 1.
A 1, okay.
Am I gonna find out why I rolled that?
Yes.
Oh, you sending it. That's why the silence. Oh, okay. So like pling it and it makes a noise.
Yeah, it starts humming. It starts humming a sharp, high tune as it warbles.
Yeah, and it's also rather short in size.
Mm-hmm. It's just a curved piece of metal on a metal stick, basically, like welded to a metal stick. And you pling the curved piece of metal, and the two, even though you only hit one of them, both of them vibrate. And they seem to, at first, they're like vibrating out of phase, and then they slowly come into phase, and you hear the tone shifting at the beginning, and then it seems to level out as it slowly dims and dims and dims to nothing. And the sound rings through the area. Everybody hears this charming little slightly obnoxious warble. But nothing special seems to happen when you do it.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't expect it to.
Gavaris seems to wander back over, scratching the back of his head and looking around a bit confused. Says, was somebody, making a noise?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was just plinging a fork.
I didn't, realize you play an instrument.
Yeah, I do. It's been a while now. A month or so.
That's, still, that's an impressive skill you have. Not everybody can do that.
I used to travel with a minstrel.
You've got a lot of interesting stories, Leah.
Oh, you don't know half of it.
I certainly don't, but I'd like to.
Let's save that for another time, maybe.
I can
Still haven't really earned my trust, and some of my stories are traumatizing.
Well, perhaps someday. I'm not sure exactly what it takes to earn your trust, but I'm not in a rush. So, if you're...
I'm still very curious. You said you had magic for a few months.
I mean, the ability to use it with any level of skill. Before that, it was more... lights, and occasionally I could produce some sounds. But I never really got the hang of throwing fire or lightning until I met my friends.
Let's see. So they taught you how to use the magic.
They worded things in a way that the couple instructors that we that live in the village.
But when were we able to summon your familiar?
That was more familiar, more recently.
I'm familiar with the spell.
But he's been a good companion. Something to talk to now and then.
Yes, pseudo dragons can be. So you learned that from a book, or?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I had to write it down in a book, so I had to learn it from somebody else's book, kind of thing. Luckily, my friends already knew some of these spells. They were able to teach me what they knew, allow me to learn these spells and be able to cast them. It's a lot of performance, if you understand what I mean, with this arcane magic. There's a particular way you have to say the things and move your fingers.
But you cast from a book?
I mean, I'd forget. There's so many steps to some of these things. I'd forget how to do it otherwise.
But you don't get your magic from some sort of patron?
He kind of, like, tilts his head a little bit and narrows his eyes. He says, like a customer? Like somebody pays me, but in magic?
I mean, you're a wizard and not a warlock.
I was unaware those were different things.
I start,
Okay.
I get very close to the familiar and like start
It's not.
gazing into his eyes.
You don't see the familiar. He hasn't had it with him. You haven't seen it at all since he appeared. It has just been him this whole time.
Okay, I just thought he had it at random.
Oh, no. No. It's not there right now. Or at
Oh,
least,
then
if it
it's-
is, you can't see it.
Yeah, then I just walk up to him and just look around. It's like, where is your familiar now?
Fishing, I believe. He really likes fish.
Uh-huh.
Why? He's like, you can see him like beginning to blush as you're very close to him, and he kind of leans back a little, trying to maintain eye contact.
Yeah, well, right now she's looking over at the water, so he will look into her cheek.
Uh-huh.
I tend to do that.
He's a free free spirit. A silly little thing at times, but, you know, good company.
Yes, I had one of those before.
I'm sorry to hear that you lost it.
No, he was. He was sent to me by someone I no longer trust. And when we split, like me and that someone split parts, it didn't end well, and he left with him.
I don't fully comprehend what you're saying, but it does sound like it was a very difficult time. And I'm sorry that you went through that.
I just need to make sure that this is not the same one, otherwise he could be spying on me.
I mean, I did have him spy on you earlier for me. I'm sorry. He's not right now.
I might just be imagining things. I've been getting a little paranoid.
I mean, it sounds like you're dealing with dragons all over the world, and I'm not exactly sure how you do that, so I suppose a little craziness is to be expected. Not that I think you're crazy, you're beautiful, but I would just... I'm gonna stop talking now.
Well, this one is more connected to hell.
Pardon?
It's a long story for another time.
Alright then, I won't press.
Merged.
Vidar, don't look!
This stupid program is a bit weird sometimes. And I can't seem to figure out how to do the rotate around anymore.
Hold left alt.
Oh, there it goes. For some reason, it just didn't want to do it with me. Okay. Wait, is it? Yeah, no, I had no idea what was going on. Maybe I hit the start key instead.
So, I believe that you're coming up on when you wanted to be appearing there.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I will walk up to the Mendes and show off the tuning fork, because while you were away, Sam, I realized that she had a tuning fork from Baranor, like, way back.
Ah! Well, that will certainly make things a bit easier that we won't need to acquire a new one.
Yeah, so this one is just a regular piece of item for tuning my flute. Does this count? As
I
into this
believe that it should.
You may roll Arcana to understand how the spell works. I do believe it's on your spell list anyway.
I don't have it in my spell book, though.
No, but it's on your
it
class's
is a
spell
wizard's
list, so
spell,
there's a reason, like, that is reason enough to be aware of it.
That is a 29.
And that is high enough to know things about it. You are aware that the component for casting plane shift is a tuning fork specifically tuned to whatever plane you wish to go to, and for the material plane, that is a regular steel or iron tuning fork in the key of C.
Okay. Does this tuning fork fit that?
Are you musically inclined?
No.
Are you going to bang the tuning fork?
Sure.
Okay. You tap the tuning fork against a knuckle or a hard
It makes a
surface.
noise.
It
Lerman
lets
is like,
out.
that is indeed a noise that a tuning fork theoretically makes. Is this a C?
No, that is an A.
We might need a new one.
Does the tone matter? I thought it was just needed to be. I don't understand this.
For the material plane, it should be a tuning fork that is tuned to. You said tuned to the KFC.
QC.
Yeah.
So, if a tuning fork has a different key, would it then go to a different plane?
I would think that the tuning fork would need to be from that plane, or at least partially created via it, which is something that if I do have to create a tuning fork, we could test around the plane of fire, given our potential access to it. But I do not know that just... I don't believe that just the key of it is the only thing necessary to have it properly go to another plane.
Yeah.
What
Like
would
auto character,
not-
Tristan said that for the material plane is a steel fork made in C. So maybe the material and the tune is a combination. That's what I understood Tristan, but this is information Leah don't have.
Didn't he say iron or steel?
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
maybe for the Feywild, it's copper, and things like that.
Yeah, or a piece of a piece of metal only found in the Feywild.
Yeah. So it's a, you know, Laramentis' answer to Leah's question was that it's possible that the tone of it is going to be different for different planes. That's likely not the only thing that's different.
Well, I don't even know where this one is made. It would be interesting to try it, but if it goes to a dangerous plane and I don't have a way back, it's probably not wise.
Yeah, probably just wouldn't work.
With the spell, can you make a shot in the dark with it? Like, can you just be like, I got a tuning fork, just plane shift through it,
I mean,
and then see where you go?
so
I don't think you can.
in the Arcane University, you would have probably, with a 29, definitely borne witness to people working on this spell, testing things, you know, learning. What you witnessed is that when the spell is cast, the rite is performed, and then the tuning fork is struck, and then held up to the portal that currently has no destination. It's just a hole in reality. And the vibrations of the tuning fork are what shape the path. And so it's after the ringing tuning fork is brought up to the shapeless portal that it takes form to bring you where you want to go.
Okay.
So you can imagine if it is something that does not match any of the known planes or known requirements, or unknown in that case, that it would probably just not shape the portal.
It's just like spits you out into an eldritch plane. The elder
that,
gods.
that is also possible.
My
What
brain
do I
can't
know?
handle this.
But you know
Okay,
that
I'm looking at the spell now. It also specifies that the fork needs to be of 250 gold coins of value, so this one might even be cheaper than that.
It needs to be a gold encrust, like a gold, solid gold, diamond encrusted whole bit.
And it also says, like, I can read what it says here. It says that you and up to 8 willing creatures who link hands in a circle are transported to a different plane of existence. You can specify a target's destination in general terms, such as the city of brass on the elemental plane, or fire, or the place of this Peter on the second level of the Nine House, and you appear in or near that destination. If you are trying to reach the city of Brass, for example, you might arrive in the streets of Steel before its gate to ashes, or looking at the city from across the Sea of Fire at the GM's discretion.
Whatever's
That
funniest.
suck.
Yeah,
Whatever is dramatically appropriate.
exactly.
Yeah, you can see the city. There it is.
Yeah. Alternatively, if you know the sigil sequence or teleportation circle on another plane of existence, this spell can take you to that circle. If the teleportation circle is too small to hold all the creatures you transported, they appear in the closest unoccupied spaces next to the circle.
Teleportation circles are extremely dangerous knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, so I can, if I know the teleportation circle or a different plane, I can actually go there. But I still need forks. So the description doesn't mention how the forks are used. That's just under components.
I mean, I feel like his description is a fun way to do it and makes sense and all of that. So like, I think that's a good role for it.
I mean, tuning.
Yeah,
Incorporate the tuning.
yeah. I kind of missed what Tristan said because I was reading at the time.
Yeah, can I ask my question now?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I
I've
didn't
tried
realize.
5 times. What do I know about tuning forks?
In general, or magically specifically?
In general.
Okay. Just give me a knowledge roll of any kind, history, whatever. Give me either history or nature.
Nature, that's a 28.
Okay. Yeah, you are incredibly... You are the Lootmeister. You're incredibly familiar with tuning forks. You know that they are generally made, as their name implies, of a forked piece of metal with 2 parallel bars that, when struck against a hard object, they vibrate, and their vibrations cause them to ring out at a particular... Their shape composition makes them ring at a particular frequency, which is used to match instrument notes too. So you'll get them made in A or B or C or D or E or F or G, and then you tune your instrument's note to that fork to know that you are playing in tune.
You said C, that the thing had to be for the material plane for C.
Yes.
There are 2 C's.
Yes. Well, there's 1 C, but there's low C, middle C, and high C. But they're octaves, so their frequencies are, for all intents and purposes, the same. Like, that's how octaval frequencies work.
So I know that if you can change the pitch of a tuning fork.
Yes, if you modify its shape, or if you make it out of a different material, if you have one in your hand, you can tweak it to make it the right pitch.
Yeah. So I know this.
Yes.
I would
Because
say, like,
obviously a
if it's
person
in-
had to make it.
Yeah. So I know that, like, you can change the pitch of it, and if I know that, I would say that I would just go, yeah, if that's in the wrong pitch, you can change that. Not super easy, but it can be done.
Then we might be able to use this, which could theoretically be cheaper to modify than to purchase a new one that's properly tuned. To the
guess
voice
you
in
know
the sky,
those
you had said that we're pretty much at the time that we should be heading off.
It seems to me like you would have said, you know, we're gonna be there in an hour, and,
Yeah.
you know, like, that would be a reasonable thing.
Yeah.
Give Cyrus time to study the teleportation circle, and just make sure that you've talked about some things that you find important while you have Gavaris at your disposal. which has been done.
So Loramendus will turn to everyone and say, I believe that now is just about the time that we should be saying our goodbyes and heading off to the university.
It's about time.
That is a big fish.
Yeah.
Pseudo dragon caught it.
Is it a fish or is it a slingshot?
Well, Jibble, if you wouldn't mind coming over here. White-based dragonborn, if you wouldn't mind coming a step closer as well.
That's Yuki.
Now I know for the future.
Yeah, black-based is, I went by their scale colors.
That makes sense.
Oh,
Yuki's got white scales and Tatsu has black scales.
Wait, Leo, where are you going? You need to be over here.
The, Gavaris seems to be, like, seated by the fire, staring into the embers that he has stoked back to life. As you know that the fire was not currently burning when you got there. He seems very distracted.
sit down next to him. Gaze into the fire and use prestidigitation to alter the colors of the fire to more of a let's go with like dark bluish color.
Huh? He sees the change in color and kind of pokes at the embers again before seeming to like notice that he's not sparking any change in the flames and kind of like turns his head to look for maybe if the wind is causing it and finally realizes that you're there. So,
I smile and then I shift it over to pink.
He gazes upon this for a moment and says, I see you've got a few magic tricks of your own.
Oh yeah, I know a few.
You see his lips part as he whispers something under his breath, and he moves his hand around next to the flame, and you watch as a trickle of fire leaves the larger mass and travels up and winds around his fingers. And he holds up his hand between you, your pink flame writhing like a tiny snake around his extended fingers, and then he turns his palm up and it coils up in his palm before he closes his hand and blows, and you see pink smoke pour out from between his fingers, which make small spheres, almost like bubbles, in the air.
That's a cool trick.
Those are just...
You are aware that you put him on the fire, right?
Yes. I wanted him close. He's fine. It's just his base, which isn't real.
It's just what keeps him upright.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah,
threatens
without
the
gravity.
fire.
Good one, Sam. That's just some of the cantrips they taught me. And he kind of, like, there's a protracted pause after he says it, as you notice that he's looking intently into your eyes. He says, well, you've got... I hope you find your father. I hope he's alright.
Yeah, I hope so too. Nottingham is probably getting himself into trouble right now.
noticed that everyone that seems to be even a little bit older than myself is always finding trouble to be in. And they are accusing me of the one being in trouble sometimes. It's like, if you look at yourself, in any event, what I'm trying to say is, he kind of, like, casts a glance back at the group. I know you've got it tough looking out for them, but, well, I hope that you stay out of too much trouble and that you'll come back and visit sometime.
Maybe.
After the stories of Tuka and the other Sentinels, I started thinking maybe I should have a conversation with Treznor after all. Maybe I wasn't fair to him.
Maybe, but we've seen his methods, and it's not something I'm willing to support. Though I understand it at the state the world is in.
There's never an easy way to do anything that's important, is what I've learned. That if you really want to accomplish something meaningful, or do something that it seems needs to be done, make the world better, different, it's always a great deal of effort, you know? Enough to make you think, maybe I should just stay home. And that's what I thought for a while. And then I thought maybe I was finally growing up and getting over it, and that was when I left. And that all seemed good. I started learning magic, and I thought, okay, maybe I can find some of the other Sentinels and show Treznor that there's a way to do this that doesn't involve quite so much death. But if everything you lot have said is true, I have to do some thinking. That's what. A little bit more thinking.
I'm a supporter of life, and the things Treznor is doing is the opposite of that.
That's what I thought. He nods, still staring in the flames. That's what I thought too.
Yes, that's why him and Sintaram went on disagreement.
I mean, I wasn't there. I only know what people have said. And so people talk about how, oh, back in the past, you know, your great-grandfather's time, there was this, we could hang out with the Fae anytime kind of thing. There was always this, he's been like this forever. We could use the perpendicularity before, even when he was... There's something else to it. I don't know what.
It is. You know the friend I mentioned? That I got on disagreement with?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know them, but I know what you're talking about.
Well, he's a demon.
Oh.
And he's responsible for having put Sintaramel, which was the guardian of this perpendicularity, in the Feywild. He fought him and won. He trapped him in a suit of armor and hid him in Arcosia, where I found him about a month ago. That is why the perpendicularity was destroyed. This happened 70 years ago.
He tell you all that?
Sintaramel did, after he like slowly started talking to me through the armor while I wore it, and he convinced me that the other friend wasn't a friend after all, and was doing bad things and leading me into these bad things. So eventually I managed to disconnect my bond and make a new one with Centarma.
So you,
Centarma is the one I get my powers from now. How I use magic.
oh, you didn't have to do all this studying like I do.
No,
Lucky.
I got it from the old friend before, but the magic he gave me was more destructive. Very fire-based and deceiving.
You did say he was a demon.
Yeah. Centarma's magic is more... well... it's strange, is a good way of saying it.
I have been told that fairies are rather strange. So my heritage comes from there, being half elf and all. So I think I can understand. Weird magic.
I don't know anything about my elf heritage.
He looks away from the flames to you, and he looks sad. Because I'm sorry. I mean, you know, they're just people too.
My mom was a human. She was found right after giving birth to me in Ebengard. She was alone and she passed away there. My father was nowhere to be seen, so I don't know anything about him. Don't know if he left her there or hurt her or if he was ever even involved. I don't know.
She never even knew your parents.
No, I was raised in an orphanage.
Well, I at least knew my parents. I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what else to say though. I don't want to say something stupid.
That's fine. You're doing fine.
Point is, point is, I guess we found a new family, and you're doing fine too, right?
Yeah. So I haven't been with this lot for that long. It feels like years, but it's only a few months. We've been through so much already.
Well, I can't say I envy you that, but
Oh yeah, like we faced the living dead, we destroyed the lich, we fought dragons, terrible creatures from different planes.
he stands up like abruptly and just like dusts the mucky dirt off the seat of his pants. It's all right. That's wow. Look. I don't know if anything I could say would mean anything in the face of all that, but if you've done so much, if you faced all those hardships and still had the strength to come here and tell Treznor there's gotta be a better way, well, I think you're gonna do okay.
The threat we're facing now is way bigger than anything. And children on Tiamat is not something to joke about. I don't think many of us expect to come out of this alive.
Why are you telling me all this?
I don't know. We've been practicing not to share so much information, but I kinda get lost in it.
Are you scared?
Yeah. Yeah.
turned to face you, and he seems to be just, like, nodding to himself as you admit this. He says, yeah, I would be too. Look, if you need anything, even just someone to talk to.
There's so much to face, so much dangers, and now Dad is taken. Don't know where, don't know how long, and all I know is it's related to Star Mill, and it's just. I'm trying to stay strong, but it's not easy.
He brings a hand, kind of up to his face. He seems to be, like, examining it before he closes it, and then looking up to you again, making strong eye contact. He holds out his closed hand, opens it to you. See, the palm is empty. But he's looking seriously into your eyes as he holds his hand out.
What are you doing?
Well, I don't want to be too forward, but just seem to need a hug.
Oh. Yeah. Awkwardly give him a hug.
And he slowly closes his arms around your back, and you can tell that he's doing this to not move too quickly, to not scare you. But he does pull you in and slowly puts pressure on you, and you feel this warmth of your connection. You feel the tension in the muscles of his arm as he seems like he's totally lost for words. There's this desperation as he is trying to pass something, some strength to you through this gesture. I tried to dissuade you from your path earlier, and he says, like, into your hair as he's holding you. He's just a few inches taller than you. Says, I'm sorry for that. I didn't know anything about you, and it wasn't right of me to presume that I could tell you what the right choice to make was. But after seeing you with your friends a couple of times, and hearing your stories, I only know you a little bit better, but I have this feeling. I feel good about it. It's a good gut feeling. I feel like I'm good at reading people. I mean, maybe I'm not. But my friends, they taught me magic and they didn't kill me or nothing, so it can't be that bad. I think that you're doing the right thing, and that I was wrong to say you weren't earlier. So I hope you can forgive me.
Yeah, forgive you. I hope you can. I'm sorry I distrusted you or being a spy.
I mean, like I said, kinda was, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean for my old friend.
Oh,
He's been sending people to try and get me, so...
well, if anybody comes here looking for you, I'll make sure that, I'm gonna make sure I stay the fuck away from them, actually. I don't want anything to do with them. They sound scary as shit.
Wise move. I lean back. Try to let go.
He, like, notices, like, just a moment, like, too late, like, you get just to the point that you're, like, trying to escape, like,
Oh,
sorry, and releases you.
I'd like fix my hair.
Well, anyway, you know how to reach me now. You got
I
magic.
get distracted by the fire and I turn it back into normal color.
I hope our paths cross again, Leah. And I hope that at that time the world's not quite so chaotic.
Yeah. I hope so too.
Look, I'm loving you being here talking to me. Like, you're really cool. I think your friends are waiting, and I don't want them to set my shoes on fire.
Right. I get up and I just give him a last look like, yeah, thanks. And I run out to catch up with the rest.
He kind of like raises a hand and kind of waves and raises his voice to say, honestly, I think I should be thanking you people.
Rebel or Leah, could why don't you take one? Yeah. Thank you.
I have to control the Jebel and the Tatsuya tokens.
Yeah, I know, but I still thought it was fun. Alright, now everyone's in range. Teleport.
I give him a last wipe.
I'm gonna double check and make sure that there's no
Raiken.
failure chance.
Oh no, what? What happened?
Yeah,
to him?
we lost him like 2 sessions ago. Pay attention.
Wait, hold on. I didn't get any messages from him. What's going on?
It's almost 10:30 anyway, so.
Hey, that's what I was about to say. We are close, and we did just lose someone.
Yeah, what
Do
happened?
do we want to just call it here so that you have time to, well, possibly you and me have time to work on the map?
Yeah.
It's a good stopping point too, because we're just teleporting.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright. Cool. Yes. It's gonna be a real damn short recording.
Yeah,
It's
sorry
fine.
that we ended it, but
Hey, at least we came and we did it.
So yeah, then as the Cyrus casts his spell, and you find that the world around you begins to blur as arcane energy wraps you in this like dome of color, like rainbow essence, wrapping around you wildly and distorting the world. So the last thing that you see is the swamp, which is already a blur of green and brown, becomes a smear of those colors, and you see the waving form of Givaris get smeared along with it, and then you are cast momentarily into darkness before being let out the other side of the spell, which we will begin with next time.
and there's no chance of missing. I double checked that. So long
I
as you
know.
have a,
That's if you have the
if
circle.
you have the circle,
Yeah.
or if you have an associated object.
Yes. I am aware of the circle strength. So that's...
I wasn't like, I was pretty certain that it was 100%, but there wasn't sure.
Doesn't hurt to double check.
Yeah. But I think it's good they've given more uses to teleportation circles and made them a more potent thing in the world. So,
Yep.
all that's good stuff.
That's the thing I find funny about clerics. They don't get teleportation circle, but they get plane shift. So if they're high enough level, they can use 2 castings of plane shift to achieve 1 casting of teleportation circle.
Alright then. Thank you all for coming. Sorry for the tech troubles at the beginning. I blame Twitch for having terrible security.
I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Blame
And...
them, I mean, not have terrible security.
I mean, that was part of the reason for that delay too, for oversleeping. So sorry about that.
Only minor.
The tech issues took longer than you showing up, so I think I think it has
It's all...
covered that.
Yeah, it's all fine. You're fine, at least. Okay, so, everybody did great. You can all have 1,000 XPs.
Cool.
And...
Yeah, that's an
We should probably ping Raiken and let him know.
I did.
I constantly see his character popping in and out like it's like,
Yes, I imagine there's just some, like...
I think he's
internet
just
issues.
having an internet issue. So, we'll meet up next Tuesday, assuming there are no problems.
I don't have anything on the books for next Tuesday.
Okay, cool. Then I will plan for next Tuesday. We'll get a good map together, and yeah, we'll have a good time. This will be very interesting. You're all going to the Arcane University.
For real this time.
Fascinating.
And now we can find out if any of those weird dream things were actually part of the university or not.
The university does have students, yes.
It almost certainly has classrooms.
But can I sew in things by thinking about them?
Maybe.
You are welcome to try.
Alright, I'm gonna call it there. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Ari, for all of your help during our tech problems earlier. And, see you next time, same bat time, same Raiken channel. Bye-bye.
Bye.